Long before the stars dimmed and the gods waged war, there was a civilization that thrived on a planet now forgotten by time. The Ngulumbo people, half man, half bull, were a proud and ancient race. Their culture was one of strength and honor, where each individual was taught to embrace their primal nature and use it for the good of their kin. Their cities stretched across the plains like veins of gold, each adorned with monuments to their ancestors, carved in the shape of their mighty horns. They were warriors, philosophers, and craftsmen of the highest order, their lives centered on balance and tradition. But every paradise has its end. The Ngulumbo's downfall came not from within, but from a battle between gods. It was here that the Forbidden One, the being who sought to unravel the cosmos, clashed with the divine. Their conflict shattered mountains and boiled seas, leaving the once thriving Ngulumbo Empire in ruins. 90% of their kind perished, their great cities reduced to ashes. The few that survived retreated into the shadows, their minds and spirits fractured. These remnants fell under the sway of a being who arrived centuries later, a master of deception and manipulation. Known only as the Trickster, he came not to rebuild, but to search for the fragments of the Orb of Anti-Creation, lost on this desolate world after the Forbidden One's defeat. To secure their loyalty, he offered the Ngulumbo purpose: vengeance against the gods who had abandoned them. And thus, the proud people of Ngulumbo became pawns in a game far beyond their understanding. The planet, now lifeless and foreboding, bore the scars of that ancient battle. Craters as deep as canyons marred its surface, and the air shimmered faintly with remnants of divine energy. Shadows moved in the ruins, horned figures with glowing red eyes, ever watchful and obedient to their master's will. In the hollowed remains of an ancient Ngulumbo temple, the Trickster sat upon a throne carved from obsidian and bone. His slender frame, cloaked in tattered black robes, belied the cunning gleam in his piercing yellow eyes. A faint smirk played on his lips as he turned a small dark cube over in his hands. The artifact pulsed faintly, oozing tendrils of shadowy energy. Before him knelt a Ngulumbo warrior, its bull-like features twisted with reverence and fear. "Master," it rasped, bowing its horned head low. "The monsters have returned from the mortal realm. They bring the essence of gods." The Trickster's smirk widened as he rose, his movements fluid and serpentine. "Good, but it is not enough." His voice was smooth, almost musical, yet laced with an undercurrent of venom. "We have stolen power from the gods, yes, but until we complete the Orb of Anti-Creation, we are playing with fragments of potential." He paced the room, his words more to himself now than to the Ngulumbo. The Orb of Creation, those arrogant fools of divinity wielded it to shape the cosmos, to bend the infinite to their will. But its twin, the Anti-Creation Orb, a weapon to unmake their precious balance. With just 2 fragments, we have created monsters capable of bringing gods to their knees. But to defeat the being in the prophecy, we need more. The Ngulumbo warrior raised its head, hesitant. "Master, this being, is it truly stronger than the creator gods?" The Trickster stopped, his expression darkening. "Stronger, perhaps. Or perhaps its strength lies in its chaos, its unpredictability. That is why we must grow stronger. That is why we will take the power of gods. Only then can we stand a chance." The shadows around him seemed to writhe, as if the very planet resonated with his ambition. Yet, hidden behind his words was a truth he dared not speak aloud. He, too, was a pawn. Something whispered in his ear, a voice ancient and commanding, driving him to seek the orb's completion. And though he would never admit it, even the Trickster felt fear. Outside the temple, in the ruins of an old amphitheater, the boy trained. His sweat-soaked form moved with precision as he executed a series of complex martial stances. His fists struck the air with enough force to create small shock waves, his every movement a blend of grace and raw power. The trickster watched from the shadows, his lips curling into a smile. "Good," he murmured to himself. "He learns quickly." He stepped forward, his voice cutting through the stillness. "Do you know why you're here, boy?" The boy paused, his chest heaving. His dark eyes, filled with determination, met the trickster's. "To become stronger," the trickster chuckled, a low, mocking sound. "Yes, but why do you need strength? Why did I bring you here?" The boy hesitated. He had asked himself that question countless times, but had no answer. The trickster stepped closer, his tone softening, almost fatherly. "Because the gods fear you. They always have. Even before you were born, they sought to erase your existence." The boy's brow furrowed. "Why?" "Because of your lineage," the trickster said, his voice dropping to a whisper. "You are the grandson of one of the most powerful gods to ever exist. Your father, the god of peace, inherited that power, but the gods, in their arrogance, feared what he and your mother would create, and so they destroyed them." The boy's fists clenched, his breathing heavy. "They killed my parents just because of that?" The trickster nodded, his eyes gleaming with satisfaction. "And the one most responsible? The god of thunder himself, Amadioha." The boy's fists tightened until his knuckles turned white. His breath came in sharp bursts as the trickster's words settled into his mind like a poison. The name Amadioha echoed in his thoughts, bringing with it a storm of emotions he couldn't fully comprehend. Anger, confusion, and a faint, inexplicable ache in his chest. The trickster, ever the manipulator, stepped closer, his tone now soft and coaxing. "Your father, Udo, was a god of peace, a being who embodied harmony in a way the others envied. He sought balance, not domination. But the gods saw his love for a mortal woman as an abomination, a threat to their supremacy. Amadioha, in his pride, led the charge to erase him and your mother from existence, and now they will do the same to you." The boy turned, his eyes blazing with raw energy. "Why would they fear me? I'm not like them. I don't want their power or their wars." The trickster's smile was almost pitying. "You don't understand, do you? It doesn't matter what you want. To them, your very existence is a threat. You are a reminder of their failure, their arrogance. That is why I kept the truth from you until now, why I waited until you were ready to hear it." The boy's voice wavered, the anger in it tempered by doubt. "And what do you want from me?" The trickster's smile widened. "To protect you, to make you strong enough to face them when the time comes. Because when they find you, and they will, you must be ready to fight back, to take what they stole from you, to claim your rightful place." The boy said nothing, his gaze drifting to the horizon. The ruins around him seemed to echo the weight of his thoughts, the silence punctuated only by the faint hum of energy that surrounded him. Deep down, a part of him doubted the trickster's words, but another part, the part filled with pain and loss, believed every word. The trickster watched the boy with a mixture of satisfaction and frustration. For all his strength and potential, the boy still lacked the one thing the trickster truly needed, the full manifestation of his divine power. It was why he had orchestrated the attack by the Ngulumbo, why he had withheld the truth for so long. The boy's power was the key to completing his grand plan, and when the time was right, the trickster would claim it for himself. As the boy resumed his training, the trickster's mind drifted to the past, to the moment Amadioha had humiliated him in front of the Divine Council. The memory burned like an old wound, and he clenched his fists, his nails digging into his palms. "Amadioha," he whispered, the name a curse. "You took everything from me, but through him, I will take it all back." As night fell on the forgotten planet, the trickster summoned the boy to the amphitheater. The stars above seemed dimmer than usual, their light swallowed by the oppressive darkness that hung over the land. The trickster stood in the center of the ruins, a faint glow emanating from the dark cube in his hands. "Do you believe in fate?" he asked, his voice cutting through the stillness. The boy approached cautiously, his brow furrowed. "I don't know," the trickster chuckled, shaking his head. "Fate is a funny thing. It binds us all, even the gods, yet it is as elusive as smoke. There is a prophecy, you see, one that speaks of a being so powerful it could rival the creator gods themselves, a being destined to rise in the time of greatest chaos." The boy tilted his head, his curiosity piqued. "And what does this have to do with me?" The trickster's gaze turned sharp, his tone almost reverent. "Everything. You see, the gods fear this being, and for good reason. It is said that when it awakens, it will shake the heavens and bring balance or destruction to the cosmos. And I believe—" He trailed off, a sly smile spreading across his face. "I believe that being is closer than any of us realize." The boy's heart raced as he tried to piece together the trickster's words. Before he could ask more, the trickster raised the cube, its dark energy swirling violently. "But enough talk for tonight. You must rest. Tomorrow your training continues, and soon you will understand your place in this grand tapestry." The boy hesitated, his instincts warning him that there was more to the trickster's words than he let on, but he turned and walked away, leaving the trickster alone in the ruins. As the boy disappeared into the shadows, the trickster turned his gaze to the sky, his expression unreadable. "Soon," he murmured, his voice barely audible. "Soon the heavens will tremble, and the gods will regret the day they crossed me."